And we are starting off this monthly update with a utility by Can of Worms. If that name sounds familiar, it's because he made the Super Metroid door randomizer, which you may or may not have tried out, had some fun with. He is back with another door randomizer, this time for Zero Mission, and there are some bugs with this. Obviously a lot more bugs because Zero Mission has a lot more scripted events, and some of these events just don't like the door randomizer. You didn't really have that problem with Super Metroid, but it generally works. You might come across some of these bugs, but it does generally work. It might be something interesting to give a try and see what you pull up with it. It's definitely a different way to play Zero Mission. And in the future, maybe we'll have a less buggy version of it while we're waiting on some hacks after the editor from Biospark comes out. And what turned out to surprisingly be only the second biggest piece of news this past month, MetaQuarius released another video of one of the custom bosses he is making. This one is Spike Spawn, and he's got a lot of stuff and a topic up there, but it's a really amazing video. I suggest you check it out. Looks like it's going to be a very interesting fight. And in his topic, you'll see he's got a video playlist. I highly recommend checking that out if you haven't yet. A lot of really cool stuff in there you will be hype about. And the actual biggest piece of news from last month, one that literally broke the forum for a bit due to the amount of traffic it generated. SmileUser96 released his Super Metroid rotation hack. It's still kind of in beta form, but it's completely beatable. This thing is very interesting. It rotates Super Metroid 90 degrees clockwise, which doesn't seem like much, but when you play it, it's a completely different experience. I played through this myself not too long ago. It is quite a thing to play this. Obviously some things had to be adjusted and moved around so players couldn't get themselves chroma stuck, and so some other things could work. And enemies aren't rotated or anything. It's literally just the rooms, so there are some kind of funky things going on there. However, it is worth checking out, but again, if you're kind of a beginner player, this will be probably a lot harder than what you might expect, so go into it with that in mind. It's definitely not going to be easy for you. There's a whole bunch of wall jumping. Liquid levels weren't changed, so lava or acid in rooms might be a lot higher than you think they are, or think they should be, but that's where they actually are in Smile. So keep that in mind as you go, and give the hack a try, and see what broke the forum. And another hack that was released this past month by the Monster of Surrealton is Super Metroid So Much Hell. This hack was based off of all things, some of my videos and streams. I apologize in advance for this. I'd like to point this out. One of the strats required is competency in save stating, so know that going in. Basically, death traps everywhere, a whole lot of red, bangs, rising acid. It's going to be painful to play this, but it's a new hack. If you really want to challenge yourself, do something maybe a little bit wacky and weird and that hurts your eyes, here you go. Monster has kindly stepped up to the plate and delivered everything you could have hoped for. So, if this is up your alley, and even if it isn't, you might consider giving it a try, or at least watching some other people do it and laughing at their failures. And I don't usually cover these in the update, as it's not necessarily related to Metroid or any hacks of any of the games, but Damsky is working on, as you can see from the title, an action-adventure game. There's no real title for the game yet, and some of the stuff he's put together is really impressive. A lot of the designs and artwork I personally really like. It looks really impressive. Super cool. Some things even look like lettuce leaves, so that's really cool. But this is something him and his brother, I believe, are working on. Obviously, there's no real time frame for this, but there has been like a lot of the assets being developed in terms of artwork, enemy sprites, movement, their animations, stuff like that. Some really interesting stuff. It definitely looks like it has a lot of promise. I mean, I've seen some tile sets from Dansky before, at least one tile set anyway, that I really liked. That was a long time ago. Obviously, he's never lost any of the talent for artwork. So he's got a lot of really good-looking stuff in here. And personally, I'm hoping that this project gets some steam, gets through to completion, because it looks really cool. It's kind of going to be in the same vein as the Metroidvania 2, so that's always a plus. But if this is something up your alley, you might want to consider checking it out, maybe seeing if there's some way you can help support Dansky in this project. Seeing maybe we get another game come to fruition. And the next community race has been scheduled. This time we are taking on the original Super Metroid redesign. It's going to be quite an interesting thing. It is going to take place, obviously, April 2nd. The time is 2 p.m. Eastern Standard. Everyone who can join is invited. We'll be convening in the MetConst Mumble, so if you don't have that and you want to join in, I suggest grabbing that, because that's where we'll be hanging out and saying things about the hack that are probably nice. Maybe not every now and then, but things happen. So anyway, mark April 2nd down on your calendars. And that is all the news for the past month or so. I wanted to thank everybody for the updates, the videos, the screenshots, the released hacks, the new utility from Can of Worms for Zero Mission. There's a lot of really cool stuff going on, and we're obviously looking forward to a lot more cool stuff in the future, obviously, with the music editor, Super Metroid, the editor in general from BioSpark for both Fusion and Zero Mission. That's going to be a huge thing. Can't wait for that. Hopefully get more interest in hacking those games and see those games turned into something actually good. Haters gonna hate, I guess. I had to put that in. We've got Rogue Dawn for the Nestroid, for those who like that, and even for those who don't. Rogue Dawn is still being worked on. It is getting closer to completion every day. Really, really excited about that one. Same with X Fusion. I'd actually put those two both on the same level of hype I am at right now. Really expecting a lot from those two hacks. Again, though, it's great to see so many things posted, so many updates. It's nice. Obviously, don't want to spoil too much. Got to keep us interested somehow. But it is nice to see the community keep working on stuff and keep putting stuff out there. That's great. And just keep in mind again that community race, even if you can't or would rather not join in Racing Redesign, which was an interesting choice, I know, but I think it'll be interesting and fun, sort of. But even if you can't join in that, hop in the Mumble. Just mock us mercilessly. We're cool with that. Not sure how the turnout has been. I'm hoping we have a good turnout. But I also realize it's redesign and it's a very long hack, so we'll see what happens. Tried setting it at an early enough time where people in Europe can join in as well and hopefully finish on time. We'll see. Again, the time frame for these is kind of random, and when they start, I generally try to keep them earlier in the Eastern Standard Time, just because that's where I'm at. It's easier for me to do that and try and figure out where everyone else is, kind of adjust it at that point. So hopefully it works out for everybody. If you just go really fast, you'll finish on time before you have to go to bed. Just remember that. Otherwise, again, want to thank everybody for their continued efforts in hacking the games, putting out some content out there. It's pretty great. And for everyone who's helping out here at MetroidConstruction, we want to thank you for using the site, the forum, and for making this great stuff. So, that is it for the update. I'm Metroid MST, and I am signing off until next month.